Good morning. We are cowboying ourselves up. By cowboying up, we are doing what? We're attempting to win by not creating a new persona. We're just trying to be a little bit more cowboy in our life. Thank you for liking the cowboy hat. It's resistol. This energy is powered on green tea. Good morning, Virginia. Who's Virginia? Virginia's a wonderful friend who maybe doesn't enjoy green tea as much as she should. That's why point number one is V Doggy. Let's get some green tea in our system. Number two, cowboy hat. It's resistol. Do you want to get one? You can. It's $50 on Amazon. When people say, I like your hat, you can sell them one for $150. Selling two. Let's say selling one Shih Tzu for $275,000 seems like it's too much money. It's not. Why don't we sell two web pages? Why don't we attempt to sell two very generic things for an incredibly expensive amount of money? Why are we trying to sell two? One, because it's the first entrepreneurial thing that we've ever tried. Two is everyone's trying to, well, actually, a lot of people have stopped trying. So that's also one giant benefit. Being able to attempt entrepreneurship is intrinsically how we get to cowboy up, which is the whole point of this video, where we are getting slightly better by wearing a new hat. Where the saying of, oh, I'm wearing multiple hats, whereas some people only wear a hat to cover male pattern baldness, where some people wear a new hat to do what? To, I don't know. This is what we can do in our entrepreneurship is cowboying up a cowboy hat. I'm not saying wear it every day, but these are things that we can do to cowboy up. Have you ever worn a thinking cap? When was the last time you put on a thinking cap? Do they even teach that in school anymore? A thinking cap is an imaginary thing that you put on your head. This is how it was taught to me. All right, everyone sit crisscross and calm the F down. Grade school teacher didn't say calm the fuck down, but that's what she was talking about. All right, let's sit crisscross. So everyone find your thinking caps. And I'm a Chinese kid. I don't know what a thinking cap. I'm like, where is it? Oh, it's imaginary. This is your new thinking cap. This is your new thinking cap. It's a cowboy hat. So, what are we going to do with our thinking cap? Well, our thinking cap doesn't necessarily block signals the way aluminum foil, tinfoil hat does, but let's use this cowboy hat to read two books. Why is this hilarious to me? Because reading 0 books is status quo. Reading 0 pages per day is who we are in competition with. That's why point number 4 is read 2 books. Are we going to cold open 2 people? Yes. What's a cold open? Glad that you asked. A cold open is where we take a cowboy hat or don't take a cowboy hat and we introduce ourselves to two new people, two strangers that we prior have not ever met. Now, if you're wearing a cowboy hat, people might be cold approaching you, in which case you've made their job slightly easier, not because you're peacocking, but because you're trying to cowboy up a higher amount of networking deal flow. You're trying to cowboy up some new relationships in addition to the relationships that you're currently existing in that are pretty good. And the nature of cowboying up is to get more friends flow, get more acquaintances to drop by to say hi. What we're talking about in this video is how we can cowboy up, maybe just on weekends, maybe just one day a week. But what we're doing is we're visiting Texas from wherever you live. So if you live in New York, you don't have to pay for a $500 trip to Texas. You can just enjoy Texas from where you're at. This is how to cold open. This is the simplest thing, which is say good morning to 5 to 15 people. And then 2 people will actually say good morning back to you. That's cold open to people. Next point that we can hang out and just shoot thoughts back and forth are these. The 23 days of OpenAI at ACL. Today is April 6th, and I almost said March 37th. April 6th being much days before October 1 through October 23rd. October 1 through October 23rd correspond to the 23 days of OpenAI at ACL. Hashtag 23 days of OpenAI at ACL. What we're doing is we're winning October. We're winning days in October on this week, April 7th. So what we can do by trying to win a particular day in October is something that maybe we haven't done and exercised in cowboying up the calendar, which is we're going to win a particular day. Let's pick Saturday, October 11. How many of our friends know that October 11 is even going to be Saturday? How many of you guys don't cowboy up Saturday night by pre-gaming, where you have a pre-game ritual for going out and networking at a nightclub? Do you pre-game alcohol? Do you pre-game video content? Do you pre-game prompt prepare to win Saturday night only during Saturday night? Well, what we're doing is we're winning the Saturday night of October 11. And that's the power of prompting and preparing and studying for October 11 as if we're acing the SATs. Maybe you didn't ace the SATs, and that's kind of not okay, which is why we're in the situations that we're in right now. Instead of going back and winning the SAT, let's win at the calendar. Let's win at the 23 days of OpenAI at ACL, day number 11. What do you want to do? Anything you want to do that then hunts a problem for another corporation, entity, or person where we get to win at October 11 way in advance. Will this be the first time that you cowboy up your calendar? No, not really, because in the past, you've looked forward to your birthday. Maybe that's the only day that you planned, and then you had an amazing birthday. Well, maybe October 11 isn't your birthday. Maybe it is, coincidentally. We're going to plan one of the days of the 23 days of OpenAI at ACL. Did I just make that up? No, I didn't just make it up on April 6th. I made it up on February 26th. 2 pages of notes expanded. So, what we're doing with Spaces or live stream or Insta Live is we're taking a thing that we took notes on and we're expanding on those notes because we're trying to engineer our own mental health. We're trying to get mentally better. Remember earlier we talked about putting on a thinking cap. This is your de facto thinking cap. It's a hat that you put on and say, okay, now I'm slightly more of a cowboy. I'm going to put on my cowboy thinking cap. This is what we're going to specifically do. If you've never taken notes, paper notes on a YouTube video, this might be your first. This is what we're expanding on to make our brains more potent. We're not doing a dopamine detox. We're doing a dopamine retox, and I'm enabling your dopamine-seeking brain to seek this new form of dopamine, which is long-form dopamine, which is actually healthy, which is putting pen to paper and then expanding on your notes with more prior thoughts, prior execution, and future execution. So what you're doing is you're taking a page of notes and then you're expanding on a prior point. It's expanding on a prior so that way we don't go new video to new video while we stay stagnant. We don't go from new doom scroll to new doom scroll, which is exactly like our old doom scroll, while we mentally somehow get worse from all this new information. And that's the expansion on a prior with putting pen to paper in a pocket notebook. Because you guys have diligently watched and have joined on Spaces or joined on Insta Live, I will actually send you a pocket notebook so that way we can be cowboy, cow person cohorts in fixing our brain to cowboy up slightly better mental health. Is this a substitute for the drugs that you're currently on? Maybe. Is this medical advice? Only if you trust a Chinese cowboy to give you mental brain healings. What this is the first time you've had to reach out to a stranger who is now borderline an acquaintance, borderline a friend, borderline a cowboy mentor. I'm not going to be your mentor, but we will mentor cohort a book that we read or articles that we study or a video that you're trying to execute. And that's what this pocket notebook is meant to do. Coincidentally, day 15, 23 days of OpenAI at South by Southwest. Coincidentally, the monster notebook where you're baiting people in your professional life to make fun of you. So I will send you a blank notebook if you reach out. My cell phone number is everywhere. Last point is green tea. Why are we drinking green tea? Because it's just like drinking water, it's just slightly more healthy. And when we drink the green tea, we will slow our lives down and semi meditate. We're not going to do a full blown meditation, but it does take a little bit of brain focus to locate a kettle of hot water, warming up that hot water, and then remembering, oh, I boiled hot water. Now I gotta need to add it to a cup or a pot with a little green tea packet in there. Then mentally we have to let that tea bag sit for 3 minutes to 6 minutes, but then not let it over steep. And so what we're doing is we're making our own green tea by adding thoughts and intentions to hot water. And will this repair our brains also? Yes, potentially, most definitely. Will this help you take a step towards cooking? Because you're technically cooking the tea, so you've now cooked not a meal for yourself, but you've cooked a drink for yourself. That's why this video bookends with green tea. It's been terrific to hang out with you, and I motivate you to do this. Take action on a YouTube video. It doesn't have to be this YouTube video, but that's why the theme of Cowboy Up, one new habit for your week. We've listed out a few that you can screenshot, but the one that I recommend that is the most catalyzing in your life is to expand on a prior, where you write something down, you think about it, and then the next day you write 8 sentences that expand on that prior thought, that prior note, that prior book that you read, and then now you're having momentum where you're coming up with your own scroll. You're scrolling your own content versus consuming other people's remnant thoughts.